7th graders, lesson 3, solving for unknown angles using equations. We're going to continue it today, and we're going to finish it today. So our aim remains the same as yesterday, so obviously don't worry about copying it down. Example 4, let's take a look. It says 3 lines meet at a point. We're going to describe the relevant angle relationships in the diagram, as always. And then we shall set up and solve equations to find the value of x. Okay? Now, let's take a look here. If you want to try it by yourself, pause the video. If not, continue along with me. We see that there's 2 things that we notice about. Well, there's a couple things we notice here. We know that that guy right there is 8 degrees. We know we have to find out what x is, and that's that angle there. And one more thing we do know is that we do have a right angle. That's a pretty bad trace, but we do have a right angle here. Okay, so let's, before we jump into anything, x and 8 have no relationship between them. So we can't say they're vertical, we can't say they're adjacent. They're not sharing a common side, and they are not opposite each other. But we do see that 8 does have a vertical angle right over here. So this angle is vertical, this angle right here. So that means that this guy must also be 8 degrees. Now we have a relationship here. It looks like, I don't know about you, but it looks like angle x and angle 8 are now adjacent. Okay, so we do what we always do. We trace the outer lines of both the angles. And what type of angle was formed there? Was that complementary or supplementary? I hope you noticed that it was complementary, and complementary angles always equal 90. Well, the 2 angles that split that right angle are x and 8. So there's our equation. We have to have an equation. Please make sure you set up an equation. It said right there after I kind of erased most of it. There you go. It says equations. You have to set up an equation. So we solve these as always. Okay. The a is attached to the x by addition. So we will undo it with subtraction. Math is all about balance. Make sure whatever you do to one side, you do it to the other. These guys cancel out. We now have x equals 82 degrees. Okay. So a nice, hopefully, something that seems familiar to you to start us off. Let's move on to the next one. If you need more time, as always, hit the pause button. Okay, so we go to our second example here. This is exercise 4. So I think that matches up with your loose leaf, the notes that I gave you. Okay, so it says 2 lines meet at a common vertex of 2 rays. So again, always, 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 try to find angle relationships in the diagram. And then, of course, we have to set up equations here. It wants us to find the measurements of angle AOB. Okay, so when you see AOB, we'll just start. A to O to B. So it's asking us to find that guy and BOC. Well, then just start at B, follow to O, and then end at C, and that guy. Alright, so we're going to have to use our imagination here. Okay, let's see. Interesting. See if you can notice any angle relationships here. If you said that angle 25 was vertical to angle 2x, I'm sorry to say you would not be correct here. Let's see why. Well, it would be vertical if this line here extended straight that way. But it didn't do that. It kind of took a right-hand turn here. So that makes it not a vertical angle. It has to have 2 straight lines to make a vertical angle. So no vertical angle there. But there are vertical angles. I wonder if you can see it. vertical to its opposite angle here. Those are vertical angles. So we're going to try to pretend like this line right here is not there. So if you try to imagine that dotted line not being there, well then you got nice two perfect vertical angles. Okay. Well, hopefully you took this out of class that all vertical angles are equal to each other. Okay, so we know we're going to need an equal sign. Well, let's take a look at the left side first, well, the lower half. This vertical angle here has two mini angles inside of it. It's got our 2x and 3x. Well, and we know in math means to add them together. So we have 2x plus 3x. Well, the angle opposite, the vertical angle, well, we know there's a 25. Now I know this one is not labeled with a number, but it is labeled. See that guy right there? That's your right angle, so make sure you add 90 to that. Okay, well now we can start to simplify like terms. If we look at the left side, 2x and 3x, we can combine those, and that would give us 5x. Make sure to bring down your equal sign always. 25 plus our 90 gives us 115, and then we divide both sides by 5, and that gives us x equals, well, 115 divided by 5 is 23. Okay, so we know x equals 23. Does that answer the question? Let's take a look back at it. It says find the measurements of angle AOB and BOC. Okay, we said before that measure of angle, and then I'll erase this guy now. Let's look back at our diagram. AOB, we start at A, we go to O, and then B. Well, AOB is 2x, so 2x, that's angle AOB. Well, we know what x equals. 2, and now plug 23 in for that. So we know that AOB is then 46 degrees. And we have to do the same thing to angle BOC. Start at B, we continue to O, and end up at C. Well, angle BOC is 3x. So we plug in our x value for 3. Well, 3 times 23 gives us 69 degrees. And there is exercise 4. Right. Take time now to pause the video if you need to, because we are moving on. Whoa, look at that guy. I had to make it tough, didn't I? I had to make it really interesting. Well, let's just look at the problem first. It says in a complete sentence, as always, let's describe the relevant angle relationships in the diagram. And then we will, yes, we have to set up equations. There is no way you can get this without an equation. Sorry, guys. To find the value of x. So again, angle AOB, start at A, continue to O, and then to B. We're trying to find the measure of that guy. And then BOC, start at B, continue to O, and end at C. And we'll find the measure of that angle. Alright. Let's see here. I don't know either one of these angles this time. But we've got a 5x, and we've got this 2x plus 20. Well, I know if I add these two angles together, I mean, these are adjacent, so I can work with these. So since they're adjacent, let's outline the outer lines here. What was formed there? I hope you said a complementary angle, because you would be correct. So make sure, let's set this equal to 90 degrees. And we know that the two angles, even though they're expressions, okay, if we add them together, it should give us 90 degrees. that guy right there is 5x, so we'll write in 5x. And if we add him with the second angle, that would be 2x. Oh, that's a little sloppy. Let me start again. 5x plus 2x plus 20. Okay, so if I add all this together, in theory, it should give us 90 degrees. Well, let's see. Well, I see like terms on the left side. Let's use our shapes. We've got 5x and a positive 2x, and that gives us 7x. And then we need to bring down our plus 20, let's rewrite, equals 90. Okay, so we can add 7x and 20 and get 27x, right? No, that's not allowed. These are not like terms. So now we have to start unraveling for x here. Well, start with, let's see, what's happening to x? Well, if we need to review, the first thing that's happening to it is being multiplied by 7. And step 2, what's happening to it is being added 20 to it. And to undo this, we have to draw an arrow going up. Remember this? Meaning we go the opposite direction and we do the opposite. Well, instead of adding 20, we will subtract 20 first. Don't forget these guys. Opposites cancel out. Remaining is 7x equals 70. And then, well, we did the opposite of this step. Now we do the opposite of the first step. Instead of multiplying by 7, we will divide by 7. And now x equals 10. Okay. But it didn't ask us for x. It asked us for those two angles. So now we have to go back and decide what angle AOB was. Well, angle AOB in the beginning was 5x. Well, now we know what x equals. So we can plug in 10 for x. 5 times 10 gives us 50. Well, there's the first angle. Have angle BOC. See if I can squeeze this in here. You've got 2x plus 20. Again, we know what x equals, now we can fill that in. When we compute all that, we should get 40. And look at that. When we add both those angles together, we get our original 90 degrees. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that video. Since you liked it so much, we'll do it again tomorrow. Alright, good luck guys. If you have any questions, make sure to ask tomorrow during our burning questions segment in the beginning of class. Feel free to watch the video again, okay Richard? I know you struggled with this. No, I'm just joking. I'm sure you did well.